So Bill Barr continues to show what a complete piece of garbage he is. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So Bill Barr is kind of trying to have it both ways. On the one hand, he's trying to act like the good guy, the adult in the administration. Despite the fact that he basically was Donald Trump's enabler throughout the presidency, giving him a legal argument for the basis of all his wrongdoing, and appointing a special prosecutor to investigate, wait for it, the investigation that resulted in the charges of Russian collusion. Not the Russian collusion. But once Donald Trump helped instigate the January 6th insurrection, Bill Barr threw up his hands and is like, oh, not me. This is all him. And this is a typical refrain we're hearing from Republicans now. People who are enablers of Donald Trump throughout his presidency are suddenly saying, oh, it's not our fault. It was just Donald Trump, trying to cover over the fact that this was a systematic problem throughout the Republican Party. And in this interview here from PBS, Bill Barr is even saying that he's still going to support Donald Trump for president. Let's check it out.
Those are serious charges.
That's a serious
That's serious.
That's a serious
well,
enough
I
crime.
said that I personally think that they probably have the basis for legitimately indicting the president. I don't know.
I think he's right about that. Of course, he's talking about the top secret documents that Donald Trump took to Mar-a-Lago. And the fact that he had them and refused to return them after repeated requests from both the National Archives and the Department of Justice, even when there was a subpoena that was issued, really shows that there was intent on his part, criminal intent on his part, to keep those documents away. So do I think that the Department of Justice has a good case for prosecuting Donald Trump? Yes, I do. And apparently so does Bill Barr. Let's keep watching.
I'm speculating.
You're speculating, yeah.
But given what's gone on, I think they probably have the evidence that would check the box. They have the case.
And if they have it, should they?
That's a decision for...
If you were AG, would you?
I'm not going to get into that.
Now, this is the kind of BS I hate, this mealy-mouthed BS. The Republicans are trying to have it both ways, where on the one hand, they're saying, oh, I'm the adult in the room. I'm not the problem. I'm for everything that's good about democracy. I'm a good patriot. I'm for government. I'm the kind of responsible person you want in a leadership position. All these problems we have are just Donald Trump, this one person out there. They have nothing to do with the rest of the party, ignoring the fact that this was a systematic problem within the party, and Bill Barr, among virtually everybody else within the Republican Party, with very few exceptions, were enablers of his. Let's keep watching.
Do you think they will?
I think it's becoming increasingly more likely.
And you think it would be appropriate if they did?
Well, this is what the Attorney General gets paid, these kinds of decisions.
Answer the question, for God's sakes. Oh, my God.
You know, the argument for doing it is that if you let someone like this who, you know, if the facts are as raw as they may be, and you let someone get away with it, how can you protect these secrets? How can you insist on people in government taking this stuff seriously?
Now, this is something that I think Bill Barr is absolutely right about, which is the fact that this is not some minor dispute over documents. This is about protecting America's secrets. I mean, how can you insist that other government officials take keeping our secrets so seriously if we're allowing Donald Trump to blatantly flout the rules and get away with it? It's just not possible. And so at a certain point here, you have to make a statement. Let's keep watching.
So, you know, that's an important thing to weigh, as well as what what it will do to the country and to the office of the presidency. And I think Merrick Garland is going to have to make that call.
If Donald Trump were the nominee for the Republican Party again, would you support him?
Well, I'm just hoping it never comes to that, because I think it would be a tragedy if he's our nominee, if he's the Republican nominee.
I think he's right. I think it would be bad news for the Republican Party and bad news for the country, by the way. But at a minimum, bad news for the Republican Party if Donald Trump is the nominee. We certainly saw evidence of that in the last midterm election. Let's keep watching.
Could you vote against him? Could you vote not for the Republican if Donald Trump were the Republican nominee?
Well, again, I think it gets down to what I said, which is I would have to make the judgment at that point, the impact on the country, and I'll
Answer the question, for God's sakes. Let's keep watching.
have to see what's going on in the world, who the Democratic nominee is. If it's a progressive Democratic nominee. I can't imagine voting for
But
him.
ideologically progressive versus somebody who orchestrated an attack on the Capitol, who betrayed his oath to the Constitution, as you said in your words, you still might vote for him.
Mm-hmm. Depending on all this, it's hard for me to project what the future holds. The question is always a comparative one. You have to make a choice between two people. I don't believe in throwing my vote away on a third party.
You don't rule out supporting President Trump again?
No, I don't.
So I think actually the reporter there did a great job of laying out the contrast between Donald Trump and his wholesale disregard for the Constitution, and really what Bill Barr has been saying since January 6th, actually. As he, by the way, of course, has been trying to CYA. But the point is, even after all this, even after everything else, this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party. And Bill Barr and the other people who sold their souls so they could be in a position of power are no less likely to continue selling it, just as cheaply as they sold it before. Well, if you want to see just how much of a patsy Bill Barr was for Donald Trump, check out this video over here, where I detail the lengths he went through to create a politically motivated witch hunt on behalf of Donald Trump, not against him. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.